Hey everyone, welcome back to Bucky's Customs. Hey, when I first got my Longmill laser, I was totally blind. Not because I looked at the laser, but because I had never done anything like this before. I had ordered it way ahead of time, and I picked up a AutoZero little master laser, and it had like a 6" by 6" area that I could carve. And I tried to learn that, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't work out that well for me because I couldn't spend a whole lot of time messing with it. And I really didn't understand the concept, I guess, of, I just learned my long mill and the speeds and feeds for a router kind of not similar, okay? So I struggled. But when I got my Longmill laser, I had reached a point where, I've got a handle on this, and I'm going to keep working at it, and learning the Lightburn software. Lightburn software is an incredible software to create for your laser. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to make it simpler to pick out your power setting and your speed setting for a particular kind of wood that you might be carving in or engraving in. And I'm going to create a grayscale chart that you can look at and say, okay, I want this. Or maybe your customer will say, I want a little darker, maybe that one. You know what the speed and feed's going to be. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to dive right into Lightburn. We're going to take 3 minutes to create this file, and we're going to make a G code, and we're going to start hammering out little 6" by 6" pieces of wood, different kinds of woods, so that we can see what each piece of wood carves like. So let's get into Lightburn and get this thing going. Stay with us. It's time to thank our sponsor, Sienci Labs, the makers of the Longmill benchtop CNC, just like the one we use here in our shop. Go to their website, cnc.com, and check out this awesome machine. You'll be so happy you did. And while you're there, check out all the accessories this machine has to offer, like this 48" X-axis extension. So go to their website and check it out. Now let's get back to our video. Okay guys, real quick, we're going to show you how to go to Lightburn and create a grayscale test. I'm going to show you how to do that. What we want to do first is decide how big you want to make your test piece. I think I'm going to make mine 6 by 6. You can just throw a square down there, change your sizes to 6 by 6. Now once you do that, you can lock it, and then whenever you mess with this, it will maintain its aspect ratio. It'll be equal 4 sides. Now I want to start this at the 0 point, and there we go. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to take this square and I'm going to put that on one of these tool layers. These are different layers of your projects. You can put several different kinds of drawings or lines or images on any one of these 30 colors here. These two are for tools. They are like a guide, which is what I just created here. 6 by 6 is a guide so that I can place everything I need to place inside of that. So I'm going to put that on T1, and basically it's a frame layer. So if you take your laser and you hit frame on your laser, it will go around this frame. It'll trace around that frame. So it won't carve, it'll just light up around it. So let's get started here. What we want to do is I want to go to square again. I want to make a square here. I think what I'm going to do is we have 1/4 inch squares in here. So I think I'm going to make 1/2 by 1/2. So let's do 0.5. And we'll have to unlock that, do a 0.5. Okay. And then we can lock it again. Now we have squares. Okay. Now I need 10 of these because I want to run a test of 10 to 100 on both sides. So let's do the array tool and we'll go X columns by 10. We'll make 10 of them. Okay. We'll just click OK. Now I want to take these particular, oops, I'm going to hit back. I should have selected it first. Go up here, deselect, select all of the boxes, and I want to place that on the black layer. Now we have to resize this, so we're going to resize it so that it fits on our chart. Okay, I think I'm going to run it side to side. This side here would be good. I want to leave enough room for the text to go around this. Okay, I want to put text at the top as well. We want to do that. Okay, so now what we got to do is we want to change each and every one of these squares to have an individual power. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by doing a 10. This whole column here, we're going to create columns. We're going to create columns that have the same power. So this would be a 10 power down here. Power would be across the bottom. So we're going to go over here to shape properties. If you don't see shape properties there, you can go up here to window, down here to shape properties. It's around here somewhere, right here. If it's not selected, you can select it there and it'll put it right over here. So when you look at this, you can tell that the power scale is 100. We want to change that to 10. Okay, now I want to change the next one to 20. I want to change this next one to 30. I want to change this next one to 40. And so on. You see where I'm going with this. I'm going to make this one 50. And then 60. And we'll do 70. This isn't hard to do. It's time consuming. 80. I'm going to leave a file link for this so you'll be able to download it. And this would be 90 or 100. It's already 100. Did I just do 90 here? 80. This one needs to be 90. Okay. And then the last one, of course, is going to be 100. So now that I've done that, we need to create 10 more of these, right? And we need to go in the opposite direction. So now we're going to hit the array tool. And what we're going to do is I'm going to do my Y rows. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Now, what that did is that duplicated every one of these to have those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the varied power. Because what that does is on one side we're gonna put a speed, and on the other side we've got the power. So what I want to do is I want to highlight this, okay, and I want to move it down into where we're at here. Okay, I'm going to leave enough room for the text. I could probably make them a little bit smaller. We'll just do that. We'll leave 3 blocks either way. We'll leave 3/4 of an inch either way, and then I can bring this over to make this larger. We'll just do that. Okay, so now it really doesn't matter. It can go anywhere. It could be any size you want. Just remember you're putting it on a 6" by 6" board. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to individualize each one of these rows. Our first row is black layer. Our second row is blue. We're going to make our third row red, and so on. We're just going to keep doing that until each row has a different color. Okay? All the way to the bottom. And what this does is it allows us to have a different toolpath for each and every row. Okay, so now we'll do this one, will be our last. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're good. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to do the settings for each one of these colors that we've chosen, or layers that we've chosen to put each one of these lines on. So you know we just did the properties, okay? Change the properties of each individual block. That gives us our, succession of change when it comes to speed and power. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the black layer, and we're going to make sure that it's on fill. We're going to make sure that our power is at 100%, because the power on each individual block is what it's going to carve at. We want to make sure that the machine allows 100% maximum, and that's what these would be here. As you see, I've already got them all filled in, but you need to go 100% and 100% for the power initially for your black layer. And then as you move down, you need to change to 90%, then 80%, 70%, and so on. And what that does is that changes your speeds. You always need 100% max power. Your shape will decide what power it uses to engrave. Okay, so let's make sure you do each individual one so that they're all done, and it will take care of your speed and your power settings. Okay, now that we've got this created, we want to put some text in here so we know what everything means. So let's select the text button. We'll come down here and we're going to type in power level. Okay, and we're going to hit this little arrow. It gives us little grab bars so I can resize this. Don't need it huge, just need it so that we know that this side is our power level. Now we're going to go click off it, go back to the text. I'm going to click over here and we're going to go speed. Okay, this over here so we can move this to the center of the side. This side over here will be our speed levels. So now we need to put our, click off the text, do text again, and we need to click right here. And we're going to do 10 space 20 space 30 40 50 60 70 80 90 and 100. Okay, so we'll go over here and we'll resize this. Let's get that right up in here. Okay, now we'll stretch it. I want to just make sure we're kind of under each one. I think that looks good the way it is. And now we're going to come up here and click off, go back to the text, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to invert this because I will show you why. Because if we do a power screen, we're going to do this part is our darkest right here. So obviously it's going to be 100% power, right? And 10% here. So we're going to make this 100%. Let's see. I think we'll do 2 spaces. We'll do 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. Now we'll click over here, we'll get the grab bars, and let's size this one up. Okay. And that looks pretty good. So that's it for that. Now we need one more text, and that is going to be pine board. Okay. Need to make that somewhat larger. Okay. Let's put that right in the middle. Like that. And we're done. Okay, I've got a P-spine here, 6" by 6". And this is what we're going to start with. Now, I brought my mill, or left my mill at my workspace setting of P5. If you remember correctly, I have presets set up on my workspace, and it's up at the right-hand corner. I'll do a little close-up of that for you, but you can make 5 presets, I believe it is, and it's pretty handy to have if you're doing repetitive work. I like to use the preset for the laser because, you know, it's not always a simple thing to get that zeroed out. Now, I have it marked, you know, I have it mounted on the front. Some people do it on the side, but I have it mounted on the front. So it's lined up with my x-axis. So that is the same, whether it's my router or my laser. There is a difference between the y-axis on my router and my laser. And I could do a difference between by just moving my mill and seeing what the distance is, and then just making sure that I change that every time. But it's just kind of a pain. I usually start in the same place on my laser projects. If I have something bigger, most certainly I could move these settings. But this is a setting. It's kind of like the same every time. When I put this piece in here, it stays here the same every time. So it's automatically set up for P5, and I hit P5, brings me over. The only thing I need to do is zero off the top of the material after it's focused. And I showed you how to focus that in my last video. If you didn't get that, you can go and look at that. Each time you use the laser, you need to adjust the Z height to your material because it could be different. So, all right, enough of that. I'm starting out with a piece of pine, 6" by 6", and we're gonna open gSender and load the file that I created for you in Lightburn that you just saw me create, and we're gonna run it on pine. And then while that's working, I'm gonna create some other blanks for the next pieces of wood that need to go in the mill. So please stay with us. This is something that I think everyone who owns a laser, whether it's the CNC Labs laser in the Longmill or an Artour or Glowforge or whatever, I think it's what everyone could use this information. So stay with us. Okay, that really didn't come out too bad. I mean, it needs a little adjustment. What had happened here, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've got the lettering and the numbers on a layer with this first line, and it will not come out dark enough so that I can read it, obviously. So what I'm going to do is, I think everything else came out good. I like the 30 lines per inch. That gave me enough shading where I can tell pretty much how that's going to work out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lettering and the numbers on a separate layer, and we're going to, you know, probably just do a line for them, and we'll see how that comes out. Okay, it's better. It's visible now, at least. You can definitely see this is a piece of pine, and you can see that, you know, the different settings are lighter or darker. So this thing actually works well, and you know, it gives you an idea of what your settings could be. The only thing that I noticed all of a sudden is in my line, whenever I do a line, a closed line, not a clothesline, as in clothes we wear, a closed line, start and stop, I get these little burn dots. And I've been all over the internet. I've tried to work with Ikena on it up at CNC Labs, and we're just not getting to the end of this. I have no idea how it's happening. The only thing I can think of is when I re-up my yearly subscription to Lightburn, it gave me a new update right away. As soon as I got that update, I started getting these dots. I'm not sure. There's a setting somewhere because it never did it before. So there's a setting somewhere that I'm missing. If anyone out there can give me a little hand with that, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. I am going to make a change to the other boards, the other engravings that I'm going to do in the different woods. And we're going to just change that to fill and see how that comes out. So we'll get with you when we're done with all that, and we'll show you the results. Stay with us. Okay guys, I got them all done. I only did 6 boards. I did a pine, a maple, a cherry, a walnut, an oak, and a butternut. Now, the pine obviously is the only softwood, and it did pretty good. I guess most of my particular engravings are going to be in hardwood, but I wanted to see just what pine does in the different settings, and that gave me a great representation of it. Now, most oftentimes when I do a cutting board or I do a relief carve, I generally try to use a hardwood, and the easiest ones for me to get are cherry, maple, and walnut. I do have some butternut that I'll be doing a project in the future on, and of course oak. I love oak for furniture. I did a project a while back of like a little den stand with a couple of doors and drawers, and I made that all out of oak, and it came out really nice. Very good furniture material, as well as walnut and cherry and maple as well. But I really like oak for furniture. But anyway, hey, if you like what I did here in this video, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I post again. I really appreciate everyone watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Be safe out there.